Hello, Dan Alasso here with History for Today. And today I would like to talk briefly about Zotero. Zotero is a bibliography and citation application developed by the Center for History and New Media at the George Mason University in Virginia. The tool is free and the software is open source. Zotero can be synchronized across multiple devices. It can clip citations from a variety of different sources, and it integrates with web browsers and with word processing applications. The Zotero project is currently being guided by a nonprofit corporation called the Corporation for Digital Scholarship, which is based in Virginia, probably close to George Mason University. Version 1 of Zotero was released in 2006. And this was about the same time that I was working on my dissertation using a commercial application called EndNote, which about that same time was bought by Thomson Reuters. EndNote itself had been around since the mid-1990s at least. When Thomson Reuters bought it, they jacked up the price significantly, and they required almost annual upgrades to new versions, which supposedly were adding new features. Because Zotero was a very effective free alternative to EndNote, in 2008, Thomson Reuters sued George Mason University and the state of Virginia, claiming that Zotero had reverse engineered EndNote. The case was dismissed and an appeal was launched, but then it was ultimately abandoned. The way you use Zotero is by downloading the application from the Zotero website and then setting up a free account. The app is available for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. They don't yet have a tablet app. But because you're syncing to the Zotero cloud, you can get into your Zotero database via a web viewer. If you don't have a computer at all, or you can't download software because you're sharing a computer, you can actually also set up a web-only bibliography account in a lighter version of the app called Zotero Bib, which is available at zbib.org. Once you've set up an account and logged in, you'll find yourself at a desktop that has a library on the left, where you can create folders for all of your different research projects. You can create group libraries, that's down at the bottom, where you can give other users access, or you can just keep all of your research libraries private. The entries in your folders can be filled in manually, and you can write notes about the things that you're reading. But typically, most of the information will come from clipping references out of library catalogs, or off of online services like JSTOR, or from news or other media sources. Once you have the account set up and the app installed, the next step is to get the Clipper plugin for your web browser. The best plugin is for Chrome. It's called Zotero Connector. There's also a plugin called the Bookmarklet, which is supposed to allow you to clip references out of Safari. I was hoping that it would allow me to use the web-based version of Zotero on my iPad. And I guess it was partially successful, but I wasn't really able to save library catalog references right to Zotero in the way that I'd hoped to. So I don't think I would say Zotero is a complete solution for the researcher who wants to work solely on a tablet and doesn't have a computer of some kind. It's exceptionally easy to save source information into Zotero if you do have a computer, however. So I would urge people, and I will urge my students when I present this to them, when in doubt, save everything that you find when you're doing research. It's much, much easier to weed something out later than to try to remember where that one thing was that you looked at once and now you might want to look at again. You can use the web extension to copy all the information you'll need from a library catalog listing into your Zotero file with just one click. Two things to be aware of. First, you need to have Zotero open and running on your desktop. And secondly, when you press that extension button, it will save your information into whatever happens to be the open folder in the Zotero app at that moment. So if you have the wrong folder open, as I did when I was demonstrating this, you can drag a copy of the reference into the correct folder and then remove it from the incorrect collection. Very easy to do. The process of saving a JSTOR journal article is very similar. Theoretically, if you're quick enough, I think you can actually change the target folder in that drop-down menu that appears, but it's probably better just to be working in the correct folder in Zotero that you want to save to. A cool feature of the integration is that the Chrome extension will actually also save a copy of the article too into your Zotero database. That means that you can read it later. If you want to open it in a different app that you can use to annotate the article, you can do that too by double-clicking the PDF icon itself to open it in your default reader, or by dragging the file onto your desktop, which makes a copy of it rather than removing it from your Zotero database. But then you can take it wherever you want, do all the annotating you want. And as long as you remember that the file that you're marking up is not the one that's in Zotero, you're good. Of course, you can also then drag that annotated file back into Zotero, and then in that listing, you will end up with a clean copy of the original PDF as well as the one with your notes all over it. So that's how to get started using Zotero, and those are a few little tricks that I've been using. So I hope people found that useful. Thanks for listening. I'll see you again next time.